Breaking news from Washington. The Trump administration has just opened one of the biggest regulatory battles in the modern history of the ATF. 34 final and proposed rulemaking notices have been released as part of a major review of federal firearm regulations, affecting everything from pistol braces to firearm records to interstate transportation. One of the biggest parts of this reset, the ATF is proposing to remove the controversial federal pistol brace factoring criteria that became the center of one of the biggest gun regulation battles in America. Today, we're breaking down the 10 firearm platforms most connected to this regulatory reset. But remember, these changes don't mean 10 specific firearms have suddenly become legal everywhere. Federal law and state law are different, and several of the most important changes are still proposals. Let's count down the 10 platforms most likely to benefit from America's new gun regulation era. Number 10. SIG-MCX. The SIG-MCX is one of the most recognizable modern rifle platforms in America, modular, available in folding stock configurations and multiple calibers, popular with military, law enforcement, and civilians alike. It also became central to the debate over short-barreled firearms and stabilizing braces. For years, owners equipped with braces faced uncertainty over how regulators would classify their configuration, uncertainty that intensified after the ATF's 2023 stabilizing brace rule. Now, in 2026, the ATF is proposing to remove that 2023 regulatory language, saying the move responds to court decisions that found problems with the original rule. If finalized, this could remove one of the biggest sources of federal uncertainty around brace-equipped firearms. But this doesn't make every MCX configuration automatically legal everywhere. Barrel length, stock and brace setup, and state law all still matter. The MCX represents exactly the type of platform that could benefit from a clearer federal framework. Number 9. Springfield St. Victor. The Springfield St. Victor sits between entry-level rifles and expensive premium builds, popular with buyers who want a serious rifle without paying top prices. Its bigger significance is its tie to the AR pistol market. During years of brace-related uncertainty, owners had to constantly track changing rules and court decisions. The proposed 2026 changes could simplify that landscape by removing the 2023 brace criteria, though. That's a proposal, not a blanket legalization. For buyers, the real impact is clarity, and in the firearm industry, clarity can be just as valuable as deregulation because uncertainty makes owners stop buying, building, and investing. A clearer environment could bring some of those buyers back. Number 8. Daniel Defense DDM4. Daniel Defense sits at the premium end of the AR market, known for military connections and higher price tags. Its DDM4 family, like many others, got pulled into the pistol brace debate through its shorter configurations. But the bigger story isn't one rifle, it's the whole industry. For years, manufacturers have had to design products around constantly shifting interpretations of federal rules. A rule changes, a court blocks it, another agency issues guidance, and owners are left guessing. The 2026 reset attempts to address that confusion, and for companies selling millions in firearms, regulatory certainty can significantly shape product development. Number 7. Colt M4 style rifles. Few firearms carry more cultural recognition than the M4 style carbine, long associated with the military M16/M4 family. But the bigger story here is the potential effect of the new rules on traditional AR manufacturers broadly. The April 2026 reform package's dozens of notices aim to reduce regulatory burdens and modernize rules the DOJ and ATF say no longer reflect current law or court precedent, affecting how how dealers keep records, handle forms, and document transactions. That may sound like boring paperwork, but behind the scenes, these rules determine how fast a dealer processes a sale, how much a firearm costs, and whether a small dealer stays in business. The ATF reset isn't just about guns, it's about the businesses that sell them. Number 6. FN-15. FN has a long history supplying military and law enforcement customers, and its civilian AR platforms have benefited from that reputation. The FN-15 shows how the new changes could hit multiple categories at once: proposed updates to transaction records, identity and residence verification, and non-over-the-counter transactions. Together, these could push more of the industry toward digital systems, electronic forms, electronic notices, remote identity verification, and a much more online-based buying process. The gun itself won't change, but how a buyer finds it, verifies their identity, completes the transaction, and receives it could change dramatically. Number 5. Ruger R556. The Ruger R556 is one of America's best-known entry-level ARs, popular for offering a recognizable rifle at a lower price point. Its biggest tie to this story is the huge number of buyers historically affected by brace-related uncertainty. If the proposal to remove the 2023 criteria becomes final, the legal framework could get much easier to understand. But buyers should remember, a federal change doesn't override state law. Some states have their own restrictions and definitions, and may keep prohibiting configurations that federal law allows. The AR556's future, like every platform on this list, depends on both federal and state law. Number 4. IWI Zion. The IWI Zion brings an international angle tied to Israel weapon industry's long military production history and became popular among buyers wanting a modern, military-inspired AR-style rifle. Its importance here is broader than the gun itself. The 2026 ATF review includes proposals on transactions, record-keeping, definitions, and transportation, including one that would let licensed dealers handle certain same-state transactions without the buyer appearing in person. Identity verification and background checks would still apply, but the final transaction could be handled remotely. That could fundamentally change the marketplace. If buyers no longer need to visit a physical dealer for every transaction, online retailers suddenly become far more powerful. Number 3. Kel-Tec SUB-2000. The Kel-Tec SUB-2000's folding design made it famous among buyers wanting a compact pistol-caliber carbine, and it represents a broader category that could benefit from clearer rules. But the 2026 changes aren't a simple "everything is legal now" story. Some are final rules, some proposed. Some cover record-keeping, some transportation, some definitions, some braces. The details matter. A firearm can be legal in one configuration and treated differently in another, legal federally and restricted by state law, and a proposal can still change before becoming final. The real story isn't 10 guns are back. It's that the federal framework governing firearm ownership is being rewritten in multiple areas at once. Number 2. CZ Scorpion. The CZ Scorpion is one of America's most recognizable pistol-caliber platforms and a perfect example of how the brace controversy affected an entire market. Buyers wanted compact firearms Manufacturers built them. Then new rules changed how certain configurations were classified, creating years of uncertainty. Now the ATF is proposing to remove the specific 2023 factoring criteria. If finalized, that removes a major source of federal ambiguity. Though not a guarantee, every configuration is automatically legal, since the exact design and state law still matter. The Scorpion shows how a regulatory change can ripple across an entire category, not just one model. Number 1. SIG MPX. The SIG MPX represents the high-performance end of the pistol-caliber carbine market, and its compact configurations were especially caught up in the brace debate, making it one of the clearest examples of what these proposed changes could mean. The gun itself hasn't changed. The engineering hasn't changed. What changed is the legal environment around certain configurations. That's the key point. When regulations shift, manufacturers don't need to invent a new firearm. Sometimes, an existing design just becomes easier to sell, classify, or understand. So there you have it, 10 major firearm platforms connected to one of the biggest regulatory shifts in modern American gun policy. The SIG MCX, Springfield St. Victor, Daniel Defense DDM4, Colt M4 style rifle, FN-15, Ruger AR-556, IWI Zion, Kel-Tec SUB-2000, CZ Scorpion, and SIG-MPX. But the real story is bigger than any one of these firearms. The Trump administration and the ATF are reshaping multiple parts of the federal firearm regulatory system at once: pistol brace rules, transaction records, and transportation rules. Some of these changes are already final. Others remain proposals still open for public comment, a distinction that matters because the real question isn't, are all these guns now legal everywhere? It's how these federal regulatory changes will affect specific firearms and specific buyers, and the answer may differ depending on the state and the exact configuration involved.